Okay.
Yeah. So yeah. Hello, we are live.
Hello. Hi,
Hi.
everyone.
So today we have John. John Yap is a system administrator, or I think the fancy name now is called DevOps, right?
Yeah, no, well, sort of, yeah.
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 So thank you guys for joining us on YouTube. I think inaugural first day. What we're doing today is targeting the parents and the kids that are staying at home, and I guess 1 hour of time from your parents would be a babysitter session where kids from anyway from the ability to go to the toilet to 18 years old will be curious about what we adults do as a career. And so today we are talking to John, Uncle John. My son, come. What would you like to know from Uncle John? Do you know what he
Hello.
does?
Hi, guys.
Yeah. Do you know what he does?
You're Min's father, right?
Yes, he's Vin's father. That's right.
Where's Min?
Where's Min? Min's watching. Yeah. And so
So much as I remember, I'm still his father, yes.
say hi, Uncle.
Hello.
Okay. So
Hey, hi.
Uncle is a system administrator. You know what's a system administrator?
I can't speak the word.
Yeah. Nika,
Administer the system.
come join us. Yeah. So a system administrator. So I'll let the kids take it from here.
Nope.
Okay.
So the whole session is for you to find out what Min's father does for a living and how he puts food on the table. Okay.
He
So
makes sourdough.
he makes sourdough. Yeah. Very delicious sourdough. Okay. So I'm gonna leave you guys to have a chat, and you guys need to ask and find out what Uncle John does for a living. And if you find it interesting, you can ask more questions. And what we'll do is at the end of the session, we should have a Kahoot lah, actually, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we should have
Yeah,
a
what
Kahoot.
surprise.
Yeah, we should have a Kahoot and then give away like some ayam gepok, right? You know, Uncle had
Hey.
ayam gepok today. Okay, come, someone sit here.
No.
Do your questioning. It's live on FTWMM. Daddy's gonna eat dinner. Come,
I'm gonna go and lie
ask Uncle Min. Come, both of you, ask questions.
down.
Come.
Wait. Wait. But, oi, guys! Guys!
Come.
No, I want to lie down here.
So maybe you can start off by telling everybody what is it that you do and
Okay.
what I guess what is it that you do, and then prior to that is how did you get from where you are to where you are today, right?
Yeah. Yeah, sure. Okay. So, I work at EFM. It's a radio station. And EFM requires IT support. EFM also has a website that posts out all their podcasts, their audio files. All their interviews are recorded and placed on a server for people, their audience, to catch up on all the different interviews that happens on live radio. Yeah. So all these audio files are placed on the server, and we have a website that allows people to access all these interviews. And so basically, they need someone to look after all these servers.
Yeah.
So in my team, I'm one of the people in my team that looks after these servers. I started off EFM by setting up their servers on the cloud, and basically making sure that traffic is running smoothly and all that. Yeah, that's what I do at BFM. So people like me, at that point in time, we are called system administrators. We set up servers and maintain the servers, update the servers, and make changes or whatever that is required to make sure that the servers run smoothly. Later on, we my role sort of moved on to more tasks, which involves writing little programs that make sure that the website runs better. We even collect data about our server data, about the traffic and all that. So we keep the data somewhere, and we can study and make sense of what's going on in the server, what are our audience listening to, what kind of podcasts they like, so on and so forth. So my role has somewhat changed over time, but yeah, that's basically what I do. Do you understand what that I said?
You understand? Kids, you didn't hear half. Mika, why don't you repeat what Uncle said?
Tell me more, tell me or else you won't die. Go to the depths of Tartarus.
So if there's comments here, can you click on them? Do you know what's a system admin or not?
Admin. It's an admin for a system.
Maybe you can explain something along the lines of what the kids like a system admin for Minecraft server.
No.
Or
well, I suppose okay. System admin for Minecraft server. Okay, let me see. So you run a game. Someone hosts a Minecraft server, for example. That server, and you allow other players to come into your Minecraft world. Yes or no? And when people log into your world, your Minecraft world, you need to be able to make sure that your world is functioning properly. And behind all that, there are a bunch of codes that is running in the machine. And so this is the system admin's job to make sure that the machine has sufficient capacity, the CPU, the processors are powerful enough to make sure that your Minecraft world is functioning properly, smoothly, so on and so forth. Does that make sense?
I guess so.
Sorry?
Yeah. How did you get here? How do you become a system admin?
What? Is that a question? Did you have a question?
How do you become a system admin?
I can't hear you.
Coco's asking, how did you become system admin?
How does one become a system admin? Okay.
No, how did
Well-
you become one?
How did I become one?
Yeah.
Well, I started off building websites. Writing HTML codes and CSS and all that. And I found that it was interesting, and I wanted to know how do all these servers work. And I read up on it, and I asked questions. I looked at what other system admins do, and I basically dug deeper and deeper into system admin work, and I found that I have great interest in what happens in a machine, in the server. And that's how I gained knowledge. And then when people required help to run machines, to administer machines like servers, they come to me, and that's how I became a system admin. So yeah, it was largely driven by my interest. Does that answer your question?
Do you like your job? Do you like your job?
Sorry, what?
Do
I
you
like my job?
Yeah.
Yeah, I enjoy my job, of course. I wouldn't be doing it otherwise. Every day has a new challenge, basically, because sometimes your operating system needs an update, or someone finds a little flaw in the server, so you need to patch the flaw. You need to do something patch the flaw. So you need to update the system, and you need to know how to. And nowadays everything is on the cloud, so our jobs is a lot easier. Technology has advanced quite a bit, and it makes our jobs a lot easier and frees our time up to do other things as well.
What's the hardest part being a system admin?
The hardest part, I guess, would be to make sure that your machine's capacity is sufficient to handle the traffic. So now it's always tricky to try and anticipate traffic coming to your website. For example, if you're playing Minecraft, if you're playing Minecraft alone, it probably won't be a problem for your machine. But if you invite a bunch of friends over, maybe 5 or 6 of them, no problem. But you will not know when your friends decide to invite their friends over, right? So suddenly you find that the machine starts to slow down because more and more players come into your Minecraft world, and it will slow your server down because it takes more time to process more users, and that's when you find yourself running out of processing power. So that is always the tricky part to size, to try and figure out, what kind of a machine and what kind of capacity it's able to handle. That's the hardest part. There's a bit of trial and error, but we always try to make calculated guesses as much as possible.
Is it required to use a fast computer when you're system admin?
Sorry?
Is it important to have a fast computer when you're
Is there a...
Is it important to have a fast computer?
I can't hear you. I can't hear the question. Sorry.
Is it important to use a fast computer?
It's not about having a fast computer. I think it is about the ability to handle multiple processes at one time. Processing a task is very fast. The computer is capable of handling one task or single task very easily. But when you have many tasks that happens at a single time, at a single moment, that's what we call concurrent users, right? So now there's the two of us talking on Skype. Now Skype has two concurrent users. So imagine if now suddenly we increase the number of users to 100. So now we have 100 users. Now, Skype is able to handle just the two of us talking, but suddenly if you increase that to 100, then it may slow down. Then it becomes a problem for the machine to handle all the processes. Make sense to you? So it's not about how fast the machine is or how quick the machine is. It's about the ability to handle multiple processes.
What is required to be a system admin? What skills are required?
What is the
skills required?
What skills are required? Well, a good understanding of machine architecture, good understanding of how the back end of a machine works. A lot of machines run on Linux, but there are also Microsoft servers. So understanding how these machines are able to talk to each other, understanding how the internet works, understanding the HTTP protocol, and TCP/IP, understanding how these machines talk to each other. Basically, there is a set of rules that determines how machines talk to each other. Okay, and all these rules must be followed all over the world. Otherwise, you cannot have some machines following other rules, or you cannot have a machine following a different set of rules. Then they won't be able to talk to each other, so it will fail, right? The internet will fail. So that's why you have a consortium, a worldwide consortium that sits down and say, okay, these are the rules for how machines talk to each other, and you need to understand these rules. And once you understand these rules, then that will help you in your system admin work. Yeah.
How long have you been a system admin?
I've been working at BFM for more than 10 years. Whoops. Have we gone off air?
Wait. I accidentally turned off the laptop on accident.
Okay. Yeah, so I worked at BFM for more than 10 years. Let me see. This is 2021. I started around 2009.
So 2009.
So it's about
roughly how many years?
Yeah, around more than 10 years, 11, 12 years. Yeah.
How many people are in your team of admins?
We all have different functions. So system admin work, I usually handle it. There is one more person who can back me up in case I fall sick or I'm not around. So basically I think two of us maybe. But it's mostly I do most of the admin work, yeah, for the machines and the system. So you don't really need a whole team of people, but unless you run a very big network of computers, if you know what a server farm is, in a data center you have a server farm, and you have maybe hundreds and hundreds of servers running at the same time. Then you need a whole team of 5 or 10 system admins looking after all these servers, making sure that they run properly. So, but for BFM alone, we don't run so many servers at one time. So, one or two person is good enough.
So, how long is your working hours from like morning to around afternoon?
Officially, we start work at 8 o'clock and we finish at 5. That's the official hours. But unfortunately for system admins, sometimes incidences occur and they don't pick to happen only between 8 to 5. They can happen early in the morning or they can happen in the middle of the night. So if there's a problem with the server, we need to fix it. We need to get to work during out of office hours. Yeah. And the good thing about system admin work is you get to work. You can work from home because all our servers are on the cloud. Yeah, so we work remotely.
That's nice.
So you can control your machines by typing lines or codes and just telling it what to do. Yeah.
So you can automate it. So you can automate it.
Do I often?
Do you often automate the work you do?
Yes, I write most of the code. Yeah.
What is the easiest part of doing as being an administrator?
Coding, I guess. That's the best part. That's the most fun part. You tell the machine to do exactly what you want it to do, and it will do it.
What is frustrating mostly about being a system admin?
Yeah, frustrating is when you don't know what is the problem with the machine. Sometimes it can be a mysterious problem with the machine, and sometimes it can be so remote that it takes you a long time, and to try and figure out what is wrong with the machine, we need to look at the log files. So every time an event takes place with a machine, the event is logged into a file that sits inside the machine. Okay, so that if anything goes wrong, you look at these log files and see, okay, what was the last thing that happened, or what was the last thing that the machine was doing when this incident occurred, and that gives you a clue They won't tell you exactly what is wrong, but it will give you a clue what could be wrong, and you will have to do detective work to try and figure out what is wrong with the machine, and then you come up with a fix, and hopefully the fix works and everyone can go to sleep. Otherwise, you keep working until the night. It's through, till morning even.
Have you ever like slept really late because you needed to fix something?
I have worked through the night. Sometimes I remember incidences when the machine just refused to work and I could not figure out what was the problem, and it took me the whole night. I did not sleep the whole night until the next morning before being able to find a way to fix the machine. Yeah.
How big are
So
the
it can be long hours sometimes. Yes.
How big are the computers you use for being an administrator?
What do you mean by how big? You mean the dimensions of the computer?
Yeah.
Okay, we don't use physical computers now. So maybe 10 years or 20 years ago, if you have a server, you will go to a shop and buy a machine, all right, and you put it in a data center, and you run the server from there. But today we don't actually have physical machines anymore. Everything is virtual. So we run a lot of virtual machines. So these machines, there's no physical size. The sizes is measured by the processors, the number of processors that's running in the virtual machine. Obviously, the more processors it runs, the more powerful it is. But with more processors, it will also cost you more to run these machines, right? So you can't actually see these machines, but they will behave and function like machines. So they are virtual machines.
What is the most dangerous thing working as an administrator? Like if what happens if something goes wrong and it might get really dangerous?
Well, I suppose dangerous things would be, what's Bitcoin?
Yes.
Do you know what Bitcoin is? Bitcoin,
money,
yeah. How do you get Bitcoin?
Mining. You take a pickaxe.
You mine it. Yeah, you mine it, right?
Okay.
Do you know how to mine Bitcoin?
You download stuff and then you get the Bitcoin.
Okay. So you use a computer to mine Bitcoin, and this computer, what it does is it runs a little program that does a lot of calculation, and these calculations are very complex, right? So it requires a lot of processing power. Okay, so it requires a very, very powerful machine. Okay, and the problem is the more processing power you have, the faster you can to mine a coin. However, if you don't have enough processing power, it will take you a long time to mine coins. So Bitcoin miners are always on the lookout for machines or servers that are unsecure. And if your server is not secured properly, if you don't set up the right passwords and logins, login securities, they can hack into your machines. And when they take over your machines, they will install all these programs, Bitcoin mining programs, and they will try and mine programs. And because we are running our servers on the cloud, they will ask your machine to wake up even more machines. Okay, so suddenly you are starting your machine will wake up other machines, and you will find yourself running maybe hundreds of machines suddenly at one go, and they use all your machines to try and mine for Bitcoin, because Bitcoin is now all very, very, very valuable, isn't it? So, but when they wake up all these hundreds of machines, who's going to pay for this? You end up paying for it. Okay, the virtual cloud provider will charge you for the cost of the machines, and this can go into hundreds of thousands of dollars just over one night. So it's very important to always secure your passwords properly. It's always very important to not allow people to hack into your machines.
How
So these are some of the dangers that can happen, and it has happened. Yeah.
Has it happened to you yet?
Yes. We were careless.
How do you keep your password secure?
Okay, so besides accessing your machines with passwords, because these are virtual machines, we also can access virtual machines using access keys. Okay, these are like keys to your house. So imagine if you come home or if you leave the house and you lock your door, isn't it? Don't you? You lock your door, you lock everything up, you lock your gate. But if you lock everything up, but you leave the key at the front door, the thief can still use that key and open your door and come into your house and rob you. Okay, so these keys unfortunately was left out in the open for someone to find, and they found it and they hacked it. Luckily for us, it was not a big damage. The damage wasn't great. We managed to shut down all the machines that was woken up as quickly as almost as quickly as it was started, and we minimized the cost. Yeah.
Are power outages very bad? You run them 24/7, or do they stop like every once in a while?
Sorry, again?
The servers you run, does it run 24/7 or does it?
Oh yes,
stop?
it has to run 24/7. It cannot go down. So if it goes down, someone has to make sure it's running again.
So also power outages are also very bad, right?
So that's why we run our servers on the cloud. The cloud provider guarantees that there will not be any power outages. They have a certain guarantee. So they will run the servers in different locations, so that if one location there's a power outage, another location will take over, so on and so forth. So yeah, and that's how they assures us that there will be no power outages, and therefore our machines will continue to run 24/7. But if we ourselves make a mistake and set something up wrongly, and the machines go down, then it's our fault. We have to fix it.
Shai, do you have any questions?
What is the scariest thing working as an administrator?
Making sure that your codes are working well, that no one is able to hack into your codes. Yeah, so that's why we do a lot of testing. So every time we run any codes, we get someone else to test, because if you write your code and then you test it yourself, it's likely that you may miss some things. So it's always good to get someone else who's never seen your code and doesn't understand how your code works, and try and run it, and even try and break it, try and hack it. Yeah. So if you were to write a program, for any one who wants to code, for that matter, if you want to write a code, if you want to write a software, you need to get someone to always test your program, someone else other than you.
Given a choice, would you be a sourdough baker?
Again, please. Sorry.
Given a choice, would you be a sourdough baker?
If I have a choice. I enjoy both. Baking sourdough bread is a break for me. It's something I do differently to break my momentum. Because when you do something over and over again, throughout the whole week, you want to do something different on the weekend. So I don't mind. I don't mind doing both, frankly, but I wouldn't give up one for the other. Did you like my sourdough?
Yeah.
Cool.
What is the most fun part of your job?
What is the story?
What's the most fun
Hardest part of my job.
Fun part.
The most fun part.
Oh, the funnest part. When you get your machines, when you see your machines chugging along happily, when you see, when you try to achieve a certain task and you get it done quickly, and you can wrap up your day's tasks quickly. Yeah, that's the best part. And solving problems is always, getting to a solution of a problem is always happy. It's always happy feelings there.
What is classified as a bad day of work?
What's
classified as a bad day of work?
Oh, a bad day at work. Yeah, getting hacked in, finding out your servers has been hacked, or perhaps finding out that you forgot to include some settings and causing your website to crash, and you bang your head and, oh gosh, why didn't I think of that? Yeah.
Do you often work at home or work at cubicles? If the pandemic isn't here, then
Yeah, well, if there's no pandemic, we will work in the office. We go to office and yeah, the internet's a lot faster there.
Is it nice to is it more comfortable there? Like, is there like
There's coffee there.
Comfy. Well, I'm comfortable at home and I'm comfortable in the office as well. I make both places as comfy as I can.
If I had a choice, I think I would stay at home actually. I can have blankets, which
There's free coffee in the office.
I don't drink coffee. I drink tea.
Well, we have lots of free food and coffee in the office. Yes.
Like snacks.
And snacks, yes, for sure.
Free food.
Biscuits, chips, peanuts, anything.
What
Unlimited food.
Sorry?
what operating software do you mostly use?
Our servers all run on Linux.
Linux. Okay.
Yeah. Have you heard of Linux?
No.
To be specific, it's a flavor of Linux called CentOS,
like a sweet.
or CENTOS. It's spelled.
Right. Does your job like take a long time to finish? Like,
It depends. I think my job is never finished, I guess you could say. You are always trying to tweak things and there's always things to be done. Yeah.
You
Ask me what I'm doing now.
Yeah, ask you what you're doing now.
what are you doing?
So what I'm doing now, yeah. Okay. I'm trying to build a little interface. For our radio producers to be able to update our website.
In real time?
And in the past, we use a system called a content management system, a CMS. But however, that CMS is very old and it has not been updated for a long time. So it's at the end of its life. So it's time we update the CMS. So basically, I'm building an interface to allow them to be able to upload audio files and update the website content.
What cloud do you use? Like AWS or Google or OpenOcean? What cloud?
Our servers all run on AWS,
Ah,
Amazon Web Services.
Maybe you can ask the kids about their careers.
no.
Hey,
I have no
what do you-
careers and I
yeah.
hope to never get
What do you
one.
want to do?
No.
Why such keen interest in system admin work?
No.
Have you gone inside a server before? Have you seen what the inside of a
No,
server
but I've
looks
seen
like?
I've seen data centers before, but not in person.
You've seen what?
My
Sorry?
Data center.
Our mother used to work at a server in
Data center lah.
the server.
Data center.
She used to like do something at servers.
Data center.
Ah, Your mom used to work in the data center, did you say?
Yes.
Right.
Not data
And
center, like something with servers.
okay.
Is the cloud very fast, or is computers on a desk faster?
Depends on what you're trying to do. If you are running a program that only requires your the environment on your desktop, then your desktop is much faster. But if you want to run something between two machines, it's very fast on the cloud. Okay.
Why do you use AWS? Why not DigitalOcean or Google?
AWS is the number one leading cloud provider in the world. There is no other company close to it. Possibly the number two would be Google. Maybe Microsoft comes third, but AWS is still very, very far ahead. And that one of the reasons is because they were one of the first people to start developing their servers for the cloud.
If you would switch, sorry to interrupt a bit.
That's okay. Go on.
If you could change the cloud, which one would you change it to? What cloud would you change it to?
If I were to switch from AWS, I will probably go with Google. A lot of people run it on both, which is fine.
So a lot of
companies run it on partly on the AWS and partly on Google Cloud.
Is it for does it work for like if you have it on both things? Can you copy and paste it to the other cloud or no?
It's a lot. Okay, you could copy and paste codes, but I think it's a little bit more complicated than that. Depends on what you're trying to do. It's not like you're running programs in your desktop. It's you're running a virtual machine. It's slightly more complicated than just running two programs.
What programming language do you mostly use for your
programming language? I can program in PHP. I can program in Python. I'm trying to get myself up to speed with Java scripting.
Which is your favorite?
And Java scripting because we're going to be switching to Node.js. A lot of stuff will be running on Node.js. Have you heard of Node.js?
Nope.
Good to learn. Very easy. Or do Python. Very easy.
What is the most complex programming language that you know?
Complex program. What do you mean by complex?
The hardest to learn.
Well, Python is easy and it can also be very, very complicated, I guess. But it's fun because it's very powerful. It can do a lot of funky things. When you dig deep into data processing, when you want to read hundreds and thousands of lines of data, then Python can be pretty complicated, but once you wrap your head around it and figure out how it works, it's really, really fun.
Has the pandemic slowed you down in speed of work, or is it
No.
the same?
Our work has not decreased at all. In fact, it has remained constant, maybe even more.
Does your job pay very well?
Oh, I don't know about paying well. What is considered well?
Sourdough.
Well,
What?
my dad said sourdough.
It pays more than sourdough because I'm not selling my sourdough.
I think you should.
You only give to us, yes. Good business.
Yes, someone on YouTube says C++ is the hardest. I tend
It's
to
a
agree.
friend actually.
Hi Zeus, what's up? Hello. This is my friend.
How's America?
Here's my friend. Anyway.
He's your friend, right?
Yes.
Okay. Does Wynick know? Zeus for Wynick. Does he know CSS or C++? Sorry.
I'm not sure.
Okay.
I'm not sure I don't know if he knows it or not, but I know him. I know him.
Okay.
Anyway,
Okay.
what do you absolutely hate about your job? What's your least favorite part?
I don't hate anything about my job, but my suppose I don't know least favorite part of my job. I don't know. I can't think of anything that I dislike about my job.
Do you
That's
have
why
like
I'm doing it.
do you have like off days? Like, do you take a break from your work on Saturdays and Sundays?
Yeah, I do. I do take a break. Sundays and Saturdays are my no code days.
Yeah.
So that's when I make sourdough.
What is the easiest part of it, like of your job, like like besides the coding and so much? What else do you do at your job?
What else do I do? I don't know. Help people set up their emails. I look after all the emails in the company. Um, when someone resigns from their job, I make sure that the email is discontinued and all the person's emails are forwarded to someone. So I'm also the email administrator. Um, yeah, so new people who join the company, I will set up the email. If we get spam email coming into the people's inbox, I will have to try and figure out a way to stop the spam.
Is there a way to like if you get attacked by a hacker, is there a way to defend against it except other than doing the normal securities? Or is there other ways to defend against it?
Well, the best defense is to prevent is prevention. So if you can prevent them from coming in, that's the best defense. Because once they are in, it's very difficult to defend against them.
It's basically just build a wall.
Yeah,
Okay.
the only way is for you to shut down the server. Really, you kill the server, you shut down the server, they have no more access.
Is there like a
So luckily for us, okay. So with the other good thing about working with AWS is also concerned about hackers, and they also want to help the customers do their work in a very safe environment, so that people don't misuse their services, right? So they provide many tools for us to help us secure our servers. And if there's any funny business going on, if they detect any unusual activity, they will always alert us. And we have to go and quickly scramble and check what is going on.
Have you ever had like a quote unquote bad coworker?
No, all my teammates so far have been wonderful. We support each other. We watch out for each other's. We watch each other's back. So we support each other. Yeah, that's always important to have a good team working together. So thankfully, so far, nobody has been a bad co-worker. Otherwise, we have to kill him and throw his body away somewhere. No, just kidding.
Where would you throw his body away?
Sorry?
Okay, what would be your ideal job? What job would you want if you could pick one?
What would be my ideal job? This is it, man. This is it. This is my job.
Like nothing you want to change about it, or
Nah.
enjoy your job.
No, otherwise I would have changed, right?
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't be there. And I won't be here talking to you about it.
What is like the thing that you don't like? Like if you could, like, why would you want to use cloud if you can use the computers? I know it's faster, it's a bit safer, but like, is it safer than a couple computers?
Okay. Okay. So to answer that, I'm going to take you back many years ago. So there was once upon a time when people, I told you before, once upon a time people used to buy physical machines and put it in a room somewhere or put it in a data center somewhere to run their servers, right? So if you want to run a machine and if you, okay, so you already have a machine, say you're running a machine in a data center, and then you realize one day that, oh, okay, this machine isn't powerful enough anymore. I need to buy another machine, okay? So you're going to call up the supplier and say, hey, Mr. Supplier, I need another machine. Do you have one? So the supplier will say, okay, I will send you a quotation. Here's a quotation, and it will take you a few days to receive the quotation, and then you decide on the price, and maybe you look elsewhere for a cheaper machine, and you negotiate with the supplier. So all these will take days, okay? And then finally comes the day, okay, you decide to buy the machine, and you tell the supplier, okay, I'm ready to buy the machine. Here's my money. And then the supplier say, okay, but we don't have the machine right now. You just have to wait a few days until we order the parts and all that, and we assemble the machine and send it to your office. So that will take another few more days. So this goes on, and then you buy the machine, it comes to your office, and you set it up, and then you hook it up into your server room, or you hook it up into your data center, and this will take another few days to set up. So all in all, it can take weeks to set up a new server, as you can imagine. Okay, if you have a physical machine. With a cloud service, with a virtual machine, I can have a new machine, any kind of machine I want, in any number of processors of my choice. If I look at something and I like it, I will say, okay, I want this machine running now. And within 5 minutes, I will have that machine running. Okay? In the old days, once you buy the machine, you have the machine sitting already in your server room, in your data center. You have paid money for that machine. Then you decide, okay, you look at the traffic, and the traffic isn't that great anymore. You decide, okay, I don't need that machine anymore. I'm happy. I don't need two machines. I only need one machine. So you shut down one machine, and you have another machine running out. So that the brand new machine that you just bought and paid for is now sitting idle, not doing anything, gathering dust. But you paid for it. What are you going to do with it? It's just sitting there. Okay? On the cloud, with virtual machines, now I can spin up a machine very quickly, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, I can have a new machine running. I don't have to call anyone, I don't have to get any quotation, I know the price, exactly what to do. I spin up the machine. Now I have two machines running. And then the traffic drops. I decide I don't need the capacity anymore, and I don't need this machine anymore. Okay, and I will shut down the machine, and that's it. I don't have to pay for any extra for the machine. I just pay for the time that I've used the machine. Maybe it could be 1 hour, maybe it could just 1 day. Yeah, and I don't have to pay so much money for the machine, and I can shut the machine down, and it goes away. It's terminated. It's gone, and my money is not wasted. So that is why that is why cloud services are so popular today, and that's why everyone uses the cloud services today, because of all these advantages.
For the electricity you use for the cloud, you still need a computer to run the cloud, right?
Yes, it runs in the cloud. Yes. They are electricity, not mine.
Yeah, but do they use solar power, or do they just use electricity that they burn?
I'm not sure. They would be plugged in directly into the electric grid. They would have worked out a deal with the electricity provider, to have a constant electricity, because they are very afraid of outages. They do not want blackouts. They will also probably have backup generators sitting in at their data centers. In case the power supply cuts off, the generators can kick in, right? So yeah, whether or not they run on solar power, I'm not sure. It depends, I suppose. Maybe some server farms are already running solar power. I'm not sure.
Have you ever messed up something and then have you ever done something and immediately regretted it, and then it broke something in the system? Have you ever done something wrong and then you broke the system on accident?
Yeah, of course. We're humans, we always make mistakes. But you need to realize that it's a mistake and quickly fix it as quickly as possible.
If you don't fix it, then what happens?
If I don't fix it, what happens? My boss will jump on me. The website will not be accessible. Services will not work. People will complain, and yeah, the natives will get restless and come at my door and bang on my door, with spears and all that.
Do they change the rules of using your platform? Do they change the rules often, or like once every 10 years?
What rules are you referring
Like,
to?
originally you said that they had a certain amount of rules and you must follow them.
Oh, okay. So these rules, they call them protocols. They are set worldwide. Everyone follows them. There are changes that take place over time, and every now and then there'll be minor changes. They won't be very big changes, and everyone has to agree to it, and everyone has to be informed of when these rules will take place, so that you can prepare your programs and your software and your machines to abide by the rules, right? You cannot just simply say, okay, I want to have this new rule up running tomorrow. Nobody's going to have time to prepare for it, and machines will start failing. So they will make announcements and say, okay, we're going to have these rules, new set of rules set in place 6 months from now. So the 6 months gives you time to make the adjustments and the changes you need to abide by the rules. So rules change over time. How often do they change? It can change very often, but those rules that change very often are very minor changes. The big changes take time. Yeah.
Do you have to go to meetings for your job sometimes, or no?
Yes, sometimes we need to sit down and discuss our plans, our what we're doing and all that. With the pandemic, most of our meetings are done online using software like Skype and Google Hangouts, Zoom, so on and so forth. So yeah, very little physical meetings. Although I miss all my friends at the office, and they all miss me. But it's the pandemic, so we need to adapt.
Is your office originally very hot, or it's well aircon? Is it like aircon properly?
It's aircon, yes. It'll be very, very difficult to work in a very hot office.
Is it very cold?
Especially when our office do not have any windows. Our windows don't open they cannot be opened.
Is your office around? Is it landed, or is it like a tall building?
It's in a building. It's in a building. It's actually in the 4th floor of a building.
So
it's in Menara Kent TDDI.
So it's
If
very
you know that,
high in the
is.
air.
Sorry, it's very.
So is it shaped like a very is it really tall? The building.
Is it very tall? It's about 10 stories tall. That building. Is that considered tall? I'm not sure. There are taller buildings than that.
So where's your rough location of where you're you sit in the corner, around the center, or up around the building? Where do you sit?
Where do I sit? I sit, I suppose, near the center of the office. Our office is very open. We don't have rooms to ourselves. So yeah, I sit somewhere in the center, I guess. Oh, someone asked, how can you further your career as a system administrator? I suppose you can become in charge of other system administrators and become a system administrator. You can become a system administrator, or you become the chief technology officer, or you just quit your job and become an entrepreneur. I don't know.
Is it extremely difficult? Sorry if I'm repeating questions. As an admin.
Extremely difficult. Sorry.
Is it really difficult?
The job.
Yeah.
I guess in any job, if you know your job, if you know what you're doing, it won't be difficult. If you don't know what you're doing, then it's going to be very tough. All right. If I give you a math problem, and if you don't know how to do it, then it's going to be tough. But if you know how to do it, it's a piece of cake. So it's the same thing with jobs.
What is so you work as a administrator for you work as an administrator for a news for a what's it called again? Radio brand, right? A radio.
Yeah, we run a radio station. Yes.
Is it like where is it like the radio station located? Like around KL? Is it far away?
Yes, it's in KL. The studios are in KL. The show is conducted in our office, in the studio inside our office.
So you have a studio
And-
inside your office.
Sorry?
You have a studio inside your office.
Yes, inside the office we have a studio, a few studios actually that all these radio interviews are conducted.
So what do people normally interview about? What do people interview like random like who do you interview?
Who do I interview? I don't interview anyone.
Yeah, but just
But
like
our radio producers interview different people from the business community. Most of them are captains or bosses and entrepreneurs from different businesses, and they interview them. Sometimes we interview people who are expert in certain subjects. There are doctors who come and talk about different kinds of diseases, how to stay healthy and avoid diseases. So with COVID, we've been inviting a lot of people who are expert in viruses to come and give their insights about what this COVID thing is all about.
so
Yeah.
what is
So different guests and personalities.
who is the biggest person, like most famous person you've interviewed? Your company's interviewed. The company.
We have interviewed quite a number of famous people. We have interviewed Dr. Mahathir. We have. Do you know who Dr. Mahathir is?
Yes, the leading
Former Prime Minister,
hospital.
twice.
Oh yeah, wait, there it is.
Yeah. We have interviewed various politicians. So we have interviewed Lim Guan Eng, our former finance minister. We have interviewed many political figures who are quite famous. We have interviewed entertainers.
Comedians.
We have-
and such, right?
Sorry,
Like comedians.
comedians. Yeah, we have interviewed local comedians. Most of them are local comedians. We have interviewed. I don't know whether you know people like people who give talks about life coaches and all that. So some of them are quite famous. Yeah.
Or Danadi. Or and then it's
But this is live, so that other people can see.
Sorry, what was that?
like do you need a fast computer to run the cloud or no?
The computer I use a MacBook. It has full specs. It is always good to have a computer with high processing power because I run a lot of codes, so I need the processing power. Yeah, so I guess you do. The more powerful your computer is, the better it is to do your work.
What kind of software do you use to code your programs?
My favorite code developing software is VS Code. It's called VS Code. It's developed by Microsoft.
Mm-hmm.
Go check it out. It's very, very good if you're writing code.
They can run different types of languages,
Yes, they
right?
can run different kinds of languages.
So, what is like the highest point you can be as an employee at the administrators? What's the highest you can go on the corporate ladder?
Oh, corporate. Well, okay. Our organization is quite flat, so to speak. We have a general manager that looks after all matters pertaining to the business and the office. And then we have team leaders, and then we have the team members. So that's
So I
it.
think you're part
There's
of the
no other levels.
So you can't like go higher than what you are now.
Yeah, you it's not in position wise, but as I guess I don't know, if you're talking about amount of money you earn every year, you put in extra every year you are an employer, sorry, every year you're an employee, you get a little bit of increment in your salary, and you earn more and more the longer you stay. I guess that's your incentive to stay longer.
So basically, if you stay longer, the more money you earn.
Yeah.
Is it like how complex in a scale of 1 to 10? How complex? Like, can you compare your job to another job? Like how complex it is?
It's very hard to compare because if I were to ask you which is tastier, an apple or an orange, because some people like oranges, some people like apples, right? So, like I say, the difficulty of a job depends on whether you know what you're doing or not. If you don't know what you're doing, then you are in the wrong job, perhaps, or you may not be experienced enough for the job. So you need to learn more about the job. You gain more knowledge about the job, or maybe you just don't like the job. You need to find something you like.
Thank you, Uncle John, for sharing. All the viewers, it will be tomorrow. Join us tomorrow at 8:30.
All right.
Tomorrow, and tomorrow we will be interviewing the developer. Not interviewing, asking questions about the software developer Uncle Fariza
Cool.
Farisha Gaskin.
Cool.
Bye.
Awesome. Thank you for having me.
Dad, can you please help us end the thing? We don't know how to do it. Oh.